Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum and welcome to Sports Extra. I'm your host Ahmed Nawaz with the latest roundup of sports. We've had a lot going on in the world of cricket and in the world of sports particularly. But when we talk about all the hype, it's certainly there because the season 2024 of the Pakistan Super League is just days away now. On your screens, you can see the ICC Under-19 World Cup, which is also something to talk about. Australia have defeated India by a margin of more than 70 runs, and it was an outstanding performance by Australia. And I think if you talk about the dominance of Cricket Australia, it's certainly been there. You talk about the Women's T20 Cup, then the World Test Championship final, then of course they won the ICC Men's ODI World Cup and now the Under-19 World Cup. So since 2023 till 24, they've won all the major trophies that have been there on offer. So we have to talk about why this model and this system is so successful. And talking about Australia, I mean, when you're batting in a final and you're batting first, that is the way to go on about it as well. And I must appreciate Singh at the moment because the way he played, and I observed the entire innings as well, the way he was going on. This was something, I think, which modern day cricketers or youngsters need to look out for, that you've got to play your shots if you're in the zone, and that's what he did, and he took the game away. I think that quick fire innings was instrumental. Then, like I said, we'll talk about all the details of the Pakistan Super League, including the anthem, the tickets, the venues, the franchises that are all set. Training is also underway. There's a lot of hype, and all eyes are going to be glued onto the television once the PSL starts as well. And obviously you got to talk about it because look, the fact is that Pakistan is PSL centric at the moment, and PCB has finally found some consistency, so we've got to observe that as well, because when I look at the stats and the majority of players that have been selected, it is absolutely astonishing. But then again, once you've got a T20 World Cup talent, if it is there, it's got a moment now to make up for the squad as well, with a couple of months to go. So we'll talk about that in detail. Then of course we move on, and there is sad news coming from the world of sports as well. We'll talk about that. Kenyan marathon world record holder has just passed away in an accident in his hometown of Kenya. And when you talk about this individual, Kelvin Kiptum, Kelvin was just 24 years of age. And I remember, in the marathon about a year back, he managed to beat Kipchoge of Kenya, who held the record for majority. And in Chicago is the place where he broke that world record. And even more unfortunate was that he was traveling with his coach as well, who also passed away in the incident. And, ministers from the Kenyan government, people from all over the world, sporting fraternity, have sent out messages of condolences to Kelvin Kiptum, and also the minister went on to say that, we have lost a real gem. 24 years of age, someone who was eyeing, I think, hundreds of world records in his career, and it's very unfortunate that he's passed away in a car accident. So, of course, we send out our condolences as well to the Kenyan sporting fraternity, and especially to the family of Kelvin Kiptum. And it's always a sad day when you lose a young one in sports or in any walk of life, but yet alone someone who's got a fantastic career ahead of him. Is certainly very disappointing to see him go like this. So that being said, like I said, all of our team, we offer our condolences. Time now to discuss things in detail, and first of all, introducing our guests in studios. We've been joined by cricket commentator, international broadcaster, presenter and our cricket expert, K. Asif Ahmed. Assalamu alaikum, how are you?
Walaikum assalam, Ahmed. I'm very well, thank you.
We've also been joined by cricket expert and analyst on Sports Extra, Mr. Sabir Hussain. Assalamu alaikum, Sabir. How are you?
Walaikum assalam, Ahmed. I'm good. Thank you.
Great to have you. We've also been joined by senior cricket analyst, cricket expert and senior cricket commentator as well, Ms. Leena Moin Aziz. Assalamu alaikum. How are you?
Walaikum salam, Ahmed, and my salam to everyone in the studio.
Walaikum assalam.
Walaikum assalam. Great to have you as well, Leena. Now, before we begin things, we're going to look at the Pakistan Super League in detail and give you all that you need to know about this star-studded tournament that is now days away. Let's take a look.
A big cricket festival is ready to be held in Pakistan. 5 days are left for the start of the 9th edition of the Pakistan Super League. The sale of tickets has started from today. Earlier, the tickets were being sold online. The trophy reveal for the 9th season of the Pakistan Super League is set to take place on 13 February in Lahore. In the opening match of the event, the teams of Lahore Qalandars and Islamabad United will compete in Lahore on February 17, promising an electrifying start of the league. Pakistan Super League 9th edition will be held in 4 cities: Karachi, Lahore, Multan and Rawalpindi, with the final of the event taking place at the National Bank Stadium in Karachi on March 18. Defending champions Lahore Qalandars and Peshawar Zalmi players having a training session in Lahore. The arrival of foreign players and officials to participate in the 9th edition of Pakistan Super League has started. The district administration reviewed the security and cleanliness arrangements at the stadium and roads for the match of Pakistan Super League in Multan.
Well, there you have it. Sabah gives us the details of the Pakistan Super League. All preparations are underway now with just 6 days to go. And it's going to be very interesting that we talk about this prospect as well. Leena, first of all, how are you eyeing this season of PSL? I know Lahore would be very eager to defend another title. But the fact is that once we look at the squad and we look at the format of this tournament, we know that, it gets pretty exciting for Pakistanis.
Yeah, of course, this is Pakistan's prime product, PSL, and like you said, the whole nation is looking forward to it. This is the 9th edition. It's grown since the first time, since 2016. But I've got to say one thing, that it is now time for the Pakistan Super League to grow further. And I've been saying this time and again, that from next year we need to have an auction. Why do we need to have an auction? Because when we have an auction, we will have players like Maxwell, De Kock, Stark, Cummins, all the Rabadas, all these come in, these players, they will then come and play the Pakistan Super League. Right now, it is a very exciting tournament, but these big names are missing. And we got to understand, why are the big names missing? Because the lack of money, because it's an auction, it's not an auction format. So the format has got to change from next year. And once they have the auction, the big names will even come. And the tournament will become more exciting. I'm not saying it's not exciting at the moment. It will become further exciting. Right now, we have a lot of mediocre foreign players, which is not so exciting, after all in the end. But when you have these big names, even 4 or 5 names, the whole scenario becomes different. But nevertheless, for a deprived nation, this is a great opportunity to have some fun, to watch some quality cricket, to see some of the stars like Riley Russo and all these players, and although Rashid Khan's missing, and some of the Pakistani stars also.
Absolutely. Asif, there are a lot of details going into the franchises and the team selection and every possible news that we can get out of it as well. How are you eyeing the PSL, first of all? Like Leena mentioned, that it's now into its 9th edition, so obviously it has to keep growing with each passing season. But I am very, very tempted to ask you about certain things that have been making headlines, including the combinations of Quetta Gladiators.
Well, first of all, you know that Pakistan Super League earning fame globally, and this is what Miss Leena was saying, that international players, and she has taken some big names like Pat Cummins, Rabada, and previously we have seen A.B. de Villiers also participated with Lahore Qalandars. So it's a very good sign, and it helped a lot for the revival of international cricket in Pakistan, when the players like this, they participated in Pakistan Super League, and then of course when their country asked about the security and the rest of the things, they have supported the cause. And one of the top name is Darren Sami. I must give credit and I applaud the way he has supported Pakistan cricket. You have asked me about the Quetta Gladiators. I do remember last year I've asked this question to Moin Khan, the head coach of Quetta Gladiators, that what's the future of Sarfraz, because he remained skipper in last 8 editions. And yes, in first couple of editions, Quetta Gladiators was playing so good. If you do remember that Kevin Peterson was the name, and then Shane Watson. They have played some tremendous cricket for Quetta Gladiators. But after that, we have seen a decline in their performances. And especially if you see, even the skipper Sarfraz was not performing up to the mark. And he was under pressure because he was not the part of Pakistan team. Yes, he scored a century when he came back, and he played a tremendous innings against New Zealand. This is what Moin Khan said that we were expecting, and we were hoping something extraordinary from Sarfraz, but he didn't play up to the mark. So these things were going from last year, and the management of Quetta Gladiators, now they're thinking to bring new captain. But one thing that the owner of the Quetta Gladiators, Mr. Umar, he's happy, still happy with the Sarfaraz. So now there's a question mark. Either the management will go with the decision of owner or they will take their own decision. This is the question mark now.
Well, I think I will agree with Asif to a point where the management is really happy. But at the same time, there have also been news where they've said that Shane Watson, once he comes, they will have a team discussion, they will sit down and then they will decide the fate. Why I talk about these certain sides, because if you remember, Quetta was one of the initial franchises in the Pakistan Super League along with Peshawar Zalmi that was winning games, that was winning titles. And particularly for Quetta, at that time, we saw Sarfaraz, the captain of the Pakistan team as well. There's a lot of success going on. That Shane Watson in their bank, you know, they had all the players, Ahmed Shahzad, Umar, everybody was performing there. They bought in Pace Battery, which we now talk about as well. Mohammad Hasnain was the first one to come there.
And then Irfan Jr.
Yes, Timur Mills was there as well. So they had everything in between. Ben Cutting played for them as well, as a fantastic T20 player. But then again, they haven't been able to capitalize. I think that is really sad when you see a franchise that has not been able to capitalize. And then, you know, you talk about the players development program, certain things like that. They're very interesting to talk about. Sabir, how do you see PSL, you know, now into edition 2024? A lot of talk about certain players who are going to be joining, and then franchises are very, very eager to perform as well, and gladly at a time where, you know, you've got a T20 World Cup coming up as well.
You missed about his tie. He's wearing yellow tie. And just
Yellow Storm, simple as that. Yellow Storm.
Well, I have been wearing a yellow tie for last couple of months. I mean, obviously for Peshawar Zalmi, for today I'm wearing for Australia. Later on we shall discuss about Under-19 World Cup, but I mean PSL obviously is the international brand. You know, I mean PSL basically has given lots of stars to Pakistan, especially in 2016-17, Hassan Ali, you know, Fakhar Zaman, then after a couple of years, and then Shaheen Shah, Afridi as well, Shadab Khan from Islamabad United. So I mean, and most of the, you know, foreign players basically are participating, and the more important thing for us is basically they are basically, you know, praising this particular league because of the quality of cricket being played in PSL. So this basically, you know, are quite heartening to see the foreign players are basically praising. I mean, obviously there is no there never have been, you know, any kind of security issue in Pakistan. I mean, this is what I mean foreign players are saying, not the local players or the journalists. I mean, this is, you know, wonderful to see some kind of, you know, Pakistani positive image, you know, is being shown to all of, to all over the world. I mean, yes, I mean this particular season is a World Cup year, obviously a T20 World Cup, and the Pakistani team is looking for, you know, little bit combination, I would say, for the middle order. Yes, we have, you know, seen such kind of, you know, youngsters. I mean, they have been tried and tested in recent series, but I mean, I don't think so they can be, you know, utilized again and again, because they have, you know, I would say flopped badly. But I mean, you never know in Pakistan cricket. I mean, we have seen Azam Khan was selected for the T20 World Cup in 2021, but again he was being dropped. I mean, but I mean, I just quite remembering, you know, a couple of laptop time selection. I mean, Khushdil Shah, you know, Asif Ali as well, a couple of more players. I don't know, they are basically performing really well in international leagues, but they basically disappointed us in Pakistan. But I mean, this particular year, I would love to see, you know, some more young players from Pakistan. Everybody's talking about some international players. I mean, I would love to see Qasim Akram. He has been, you know, selected in this particular time for Islamabad United. He was not utilized like of, you know, like Saud Shakil from Quetta Gladiators. You have been, you know, mentioning Quetta Gladiators downfall. They were supposed to, you know, utilize the players. I mean, Sarfaraz individually, basically, he has to perform as a captain, as a leader as well. He has to basically bats really well. And then there are a couple of, you know, more names from Islamabad United, I would say again, like the Shah brothers, you know, Hunain and Ubaid Shah as well. We have seen the quality of Naseem Shah. It will be interesting to see how basically Imad Wasim will be performing for Islamabad United. And there are a couple of more names, you know, coming from like Saib Zada Farhan. He has been, you know, went to Lahore Qalandars as well. So this particularly is quite interesting and very tough competition for youngsters and also for the senior players.
Absolutely. I think with all the aspects that we've got to discuss, Leena, another very important one has got to be what kind of quality pitches the PCB is able to put in play as well, because obviously you've got a T20 World Cup, you've got to think of the conditions you might encounter there, and also the fact is that, you know, when you talk about infrastructure development in Pakistan, we do have Multan, Lahore, Karachi, Rawalpindi. Obviously people wanted to see Peshawar as well, but then again there are certain things going on. That also has to play, I think, in the books of the PCB and the new chairman, that infrastructure development in the coming years of increasing the venues and their capacity has got to be the prime goal for any tournament or any survival of cricket in a country.
First of all, you said the right word. The word pitch or pitches is paramount in my book, because once you start producing the right kind of pitches for the right kind of format, you will get quality players. You cannot produce a test match pitch for a T20 or a T20 pitch for a test match. First of all, we have to understand that different formats need to have different pitches. So once you're playing the T20, you got to have these pitches where you get 180, 200 runs, because that would mean bounce. And bounce would mean that it will come on the bat really nicely. There will be runs. And bounce also means it's good for the spinner, because the spinner, once he gets bounce, he will get purchase and he will trouble the batsman. So batsman will also have a challenge. The fast bowlers will also get bounce and trouble the batters, and the good batters will be able to get runs. So the pitches are paramount. There needs to be better pitches. From last 2 years, we have produced the worst pitches that I have seen ever in my life, and anywhere in the in cricket. So we got to improve on that facet. And yes, you're absolutely right when you say that more and more centers need to be involved, because people in Pakistan are cricket crazy. More and more people, young people, will come and watch these cricketers on their own grounds, in their own cities, and we will have tomorrow's stars. Because see, tomorrow's stars only surface when they see today's stars playing in their own grounds. They can easily go and watch those matches, and they want to emulate them and then become stars. So these factors are important. But I think Sabir raised a very good point, and I'd like to address that vis-a-vis my point. My point about foreign stars was different, and his point about the youngsters that PSL has created is excellent. And it's given us a lot of players, and I wish that even this year we get more younger talent from PSL. But when you have greater stars you have Maxwell, you have Rabada, you have Cummins, you have these bowlers, you have Stark, then you have batsmen like AB de Villiers or Head or Mitchell Marsh, then the quality of cricket becomes better. When I say we need more star power in PSL, I mean quality of cricket will improve, and that will only benefit young players from Pakistan, and eventually only benefit Pakistan cricket. So yeah, I mean, these things have got to get together, and that is why I raised the auction point. Because when you give more money, cricket unfortunately is now all about money, unfortunately. So when you give more money, more players, star players from the world will come and play with our players, and our players will improve.
Absolutely. I think for anyone who has been involved with any kind of cricket facility or structure, who's seen on-ground realities, including Asif, who's been talking about this concept of the pitches improving, and I think for the past year, Asif, let's be honest, we've had a lot of discussion on the level and the quality of pitches that are being put into play in Pakistan. Now we can talk about the concept of drop-in pitches, we can talk about the concept of having different pitches in different parts of Pakistan, as we used to see in the past, Sialkot, Pindi, Karachi, Islamabad, everything that was happening. But the fact is that it all boils down to someone raising their hand and taking responsibility. Right now, let's be honest, what we've observed, that everybody is clueless and nobody knows how to take this forward, that look, we're going to stick with one particular decision of having this concept for the pitches in Pakistan.
Well, I think that when you talk about that, the focus, all the focus is on Pakistan Super League. The quality of the pitches of the last year, that was tremendous. Just talk about the Rawalpindi leg. 2 times Peshawar Zalmi scored more than 220, and it had been chased down by the opposition. What does it mean? That the pitches were absolutely perfect for the batting and a typical T20 stuff. But I think there's a question mark on our domestic cricket. Either we are providing the same facilities which we are providing to Pakistan Super League, to the players of the Pakistan Super League. Either the focus and the media hype is the same for the domestic cricket and the Pakistan Super League. You were talking about, in your intro, you were talking about the Australian success. If you see that they gave the equal respect to their Sheffield Shield trophy, which is their domestic cricket. And that's why, because their roots are so strong and their nerves are so strong, and their team is performing so well. Either it's under 19, it's women, either it's Test cricket or it's T20 cricket.
But Asif, because you mentioned Australia, one keen point that I observed in their structure, I know we'll be talking about this in the second half of the show, is that immediately one of their players, if he's not in the international duty right now, if he's not in the playing 11 or the squad, he immediately is playing their domestic league, be it Big Bash or Sheffield. And immediately when they need him, he will come back. I mean, their priority on domestic cricket still remains the same, even if they're playing for Australia.
Well, that's the question mark, Ahmed. Why we are not giving priority to our domestic cricket? There's the if you see the payment schedule, if you see that how the franchise are giving payments to their teams, to their players, it's huge. When you go to the domestic cricket, players are not earning that much amount. And this is the difference, of course, that the players and the youngsters, they're just eyeing on the Pakistan Super League. And early on, we had this discussion before as well, that the way Pakistan Junior League and the players, they were just asking, and they were trying, desperately to get a chance in Pakistan Junior League. This is not good for Test cricket, and that's why you could see that Australia, they are performing so well. They have won the World Test Championship, and where is Pakistani Test cricket? Yes, the festivities there in franchise cricket. Yes, you're getting fame globally, but on the sideline, if you see that the Pakistan is going down in the Test cricket. This is a huge concern for me.
I mean, the stark difference of it as well. SNGPL just beat Wapda by more than 500 runs in the President's Trophy. And then when you compare the top performers from there and then you bring in them immediately to the international circuit, it becomes a huge difference. So, you need to really close that gap as well. But yes.
One last thing. Have you seen any sort of media hype of that tournament?
Not at all.
Well, that's the problem.
I'll be honest. I think we were one of the shows that's been discussing it at least. And obviously, we'll talk about the top performers as well. Sabir, the concept of pitches right now, infrastructure development, you can increase franchises, but what bothers me the most right now is when I look at the capacity of stadiums, especially when I talk about the Rawalpindi Cricket Stadium. You have a certain capacity of the ground, but even more people are unfortunately outside who want to go in, but there's not enough space. So, I mean, you've got to do that if you want to increase. And like Leena, Asif and I have mentioned as well, that if you improve the quality of pitches, you'll be able to bridge that gap between international cricket and your domestic cricket.
Absolutely. Ahmed, we have been discussing such kind of issues as far as the pitches and infrastructure, both are concerned. I mean, lots of chairman basically, they used to have some kind of a plan as far as the infrastructure development, renovation of stadiums and construction of new stadiums. Also the pitches are concerned, but I mean, they basically, always focus on PSL. To be very honest, they were basically interested to have, away tours as well. Their individual tours, I would say, but I mean, I don't know, they are basically, giving lots of money to players. I mean, they're getting so much, money. They have a huge kind of staff in working in PCB. They are basically getting paid as well. Why you are not focusing on pitches? Because we always struggle. In FTP, we knew we had to tour Australia. We were supposed to prepare such kind of pitches. I mean, I still remember a couple of years ago when Miss Baul Haq was the captain, Yunus Khan as well. We had a training camp in Abbottabad as well for 30 to 40 days, I believe. Under the supervision of I think Army, and they had a superb kind of a training camp, and we basically tied the series. We basically won a couple of test matches only because of fitness. And nowadays we cannot survive. We basically cannot survive 5-day test matches. I mean, we were basically bundled out, in a session and in 2 sessions as well. All 3 test matches basically ended on day 4. So this shows we are not fit enough to play at least 5-day cricket. I mean, so PCB basically must focus, especially in this particular PSL. PCB must focus on the pitches because the T20 World Cup will be played in West Indies. You need to prepare some kind of pitches who are a bit drier, where you can have the help for the spinners as well. Then you can have a reverse swing as well, and also some kind of a bounce as well. So these kind of pitches must be prepared in Rawalpindi, in Karachi, and Multan, Lahore as well. We have seen fans are sometimes feel bored to see to see such kind of 240 runs basically scored on every night. To be very honest, so you have to play prepare such kind of a condition where basically your players basically used to it. Otherwise, you have basically you are preparing same kind of pitches players will be making so many runs. And again, in West Indies, we shall be struggling badly. We have seen in the past as well, a couple of youngsters, say, Mohammad Haris, Saim Ayub as well. They will be struggling, to be very honest. Technically, they are not sound, and you cannot judge the techniques on the basis of 4 overs. I mean, or on the basis of couple of balls. You have to select a couple of players who are technically sound. We have seen some Australian players, Indian players as well. They are England players as well. They are basically playing all three formats. Why? And they are successful. Why? Because technically they are sound. But unfortunately, we are not developing the players. So all things basically comes pitches, infrastructure as well.
Absolutely. Lena, the stark difference to note over here as well. And obviously, I think when we talk about pitches, I always say, God bless Colonel Noshad Saab. He was always talking about this concept and that book, The Art of Pitch Making, the science that goes into it, the content of clay and everything that, I truly miss the gentleman who was keen on improving the quality of pitches in Pakistan. But Lena, like I said, the stark difference to note over here is that our mentality of cricket has got to go beyond that 150, 170 runs mark now. Look at what kind of T20 cricket is being played around the world. And I would agree that it is not the conventional type of cricket we're used to seeing. But, just recently in Australia, we've got 247 by Australia, 200 plus for the West Indies. And West Indies, mind you, is a team that has not been playing that level of international cricket what other teams have been exposed to. So until our mentality, because, what people say 200 is the new 150 now. Until our team is ready to achieve that psychological mark, we're never going to be involved in that brand of cricket.
Yeah, I mean, you talked about mentality, Ahmed, which is the key factor in all this. Recently, we all saw the two test matches, India versus England, and those pitches, in my humble opinion, were excellent test match pitches. They had a bit of spin, they had a bit of bounce. If the batsman was ready to make runs, he could make runs. He could stay on the wicket. You could score at about 4 runs and over. So India is just next door. They have similar soil like we have. So if they can make pitches, why can't we make it? And that is where it boils down to mentality. We are just scared of losing. You know, we alter pitches at the last moments, thinking, oh, our bowler is injured, we don't have this batsman. What if their fast bowlers get out on 150? These things shouldn't happen. You should play the game not scared of losing the game. You should play it with, play an entertaining brand of cricket and say, okay, if we play good cricket, we work hard, we will win. If the other team works hard, so be it. Let them win. So, when you keep altering the pitches because you don't have the right mentalities, we will never improve. And someone, I think Sabir or Asif just talked about the domestic cricket also. The pitches have got to improve there also. And also we see that sometimes last year or year before that, the pitches in the Qaid-e-Azam Trophy were okay. Same pitches when we were playing test matches against Australia, England, etc., they became 550 pitches. So, this scared mentality has to change. We cannot keep thinking, oh, two bowlers are injured, let's alter the pitch. And this mentality, by the way, has been going on since God knows 30, 40 years. It's not just now. This has to change. We have got to be more, we got to have a more buff, strong personalities and not be scared of losing. So what? Bhai, kya hoga? Haar jayenge to kya ho jayega? So, just let's make better pitches, get the right soil. And even I spoke to Ramiz Raja when he was the chairman. He had every intention of making the right pitches, but he was cut short. His time was cut short. Okay, in his tenure, the worst pitches were produced during that test series against Australia and England. But I know for a fact he would have improved the pitches because I sat in his office and he showed me the plans. But then his tenure was cut short. So everyone has to be given time to improve things. And
Absolutely.
also one last thing, we don't need two premier domestic tournaments. We don't need the Patrons President's Cup, and we don't need the Qaid-e-Azam Trophy. Qaid-e-Azam Trophy in itself is enough. Just produce the right stuff there and get the competition going with everything right. We don't need two competitions. We don't need khichdi of departmental and
I
regional. We
agree with
don't
this
need to
point.
think.
I agree with this point for the fact is the same players in the Qaid-e-Azam Trophy are the same players in the President's Trophy. So what's the point of having two tournaments? I mean, if you're going to have the same players playing, then you're not going to produce any kind of new talent. So that's what alarming is. And the same thing used to happen when there was a previous structure of Grade 2 cricket. Grade 2 was basically made for players who could not make it to first class cricket. And unfortunately, first class players were playing Grade 2 cricket. So there was absolutely nothing to, I think, nothing new about it as well. But Asif, you'd like to add a point to that concept?
No,
as well.
I will definitely ask a question to Ma'am Leena, that she was talking about the scared mentality that अगर हम हार जाएंगे तो क्या होगा, and why we are scared. Ma'am, you know that when skipper like Babar Azam, or if you talk about some previous captains, even when they were captaining, and one thing was there in their mind, and that was the only question. अगर हम हार जाएंगे तो people who are sitting on the TV, the cricket analysts, they will just bash them out. And what will happen? Babar Azam, आप resign कर दें. This is the only solution.
The chop head.
This is
Chop
the
head
only
was with
solution for the betterment of the cricket. Yes, ma'am.
I agree with you. You know, because cricket is such a big thing in Pakistan, everyone's glued to the TV. The whole nation wants team to perform well and win. We don't understand the meaning of losing. Also, because if that is cricket is the only thing that gives us happiness. In other countries, captains and cricket boards don't have that pressure, because if they lose a series, it's okay. There are other things. They have football, they have other sports that people are watching, hockey, other sports that play tennis. In Pakistan, it's only cricket, and also it's the only thing that gives us happiness. Nothing else gives us happiness, unfortunately. So there is a lot of pressure. Secondly, the other day on this show, our show, I talked about the fact that you pick up a stone and there is a cricket analyst. Why can't we have a set of cricket commentators or analysts who understand the game, who have a certain amount of years behind them? Say, okay, give us 5 years. 5 years you have 5 years experience, you could be an analyst. You not just get up and start coming on TV and tomorrow you're the world's best analyst. So all these pressures have got to go down. They got to be controlled, and educated people have got to step in every industry to make everything go in the right direction. And we've got just look at this, not just have oh yeah, he's from my party, okay, let's make him the chairman. He's from my party, make him the chairman. Not like that. You got to have educated people who understand the nitty gritties of the game to be chairman, and then the trickle down effect, and then also the analysts have got to show some responsibility. And also, I will come back to the captaincy issue again. We can't keep naming the best batsman as a captain. If he doesn't have the captain's capabilities, he shouldn't be named captain. He's never captained a domestic side. He shouldn't be named the captain. Someone who's got who's captain's material, who's got experience of captaining at a domestic level, should be made international captain.
Well, I think that is fair enough, and that really puts things into perspective. That as a cricketing nation, we need to set our priorities and set them not for a year, for 2 years, for 3 years, but at least look at the next 5 to 10 years. Because the fact is, the way we're looking at shortcuts, we're never going to achieve what we want to. Yes, we'll perform in 1 or 2 good tournaments. After 10 games, we'll have one performance of 2 sixes, 3 sixes, and we'll be all over the moon. That's not the way to play cricket. So we'll talk about that in detail. But now we come on to Australia and their sheer dominance in the world of cricket. They've just beaten India in the Under-19 World Cup final as well to clinch the title. They've got the most Under-19 titles now as a youth team, and of course India's got 10 already. But it was an interesting game where we had a lot of runs scored as well from Team Australia, and unfortunately India were bowled out for a below par total. They would have expected something more, but Australians were just in the game as well. So that's what Australians do. I think across formats, across women's cricket, men's cricket, youth cricket, they like to choke the opposition, and that's what they did. So phenomenal stuff, Sabir. If we look at from year 2023 till 24 now, they've dominated every form of cricket that's been played.
Ahmad, I mean, this is the month of February, and I'm basically enjoying the tea. And bad luck for India, basically. They lost to Australia again. So another surprise in the month of February from Australia to India. So, hats off to Australia. They basically played extremely well. That's the reason I'm basically wearing yellow tie today, not for Zalmi today, but also for Australia, I would say. They have been, phenomenal since 2022, I would say, because their women's cricket, they performed exceptionally well, especially, in ODIs World Cup, then T20 World Cup as well, then the World Test Championship final won by Australia, in England. Then obviously, last year, basically Australia again beating India in India. And these basically young kids from Australia, they basically, played exceptional cricket against Pakistan in semi-final. They basically know from the young age how to handle the pressure. And we basically, some Asian countries, I would say, but not only Pakistan, especially India or Sri Lanka, Bangladesh as well, we basically, always tend to struggle as far as the pressure situation are concerned. We used to have, some kind of close matches by Australia. They basically used to win because of their run-outs, because of their brilliance, captaincy, some wonderful catches as well, some remarkable kind of field setting by Steve or Ricky Ponting as well, Michael Clark. So these are the basically players from Australia. They are basically, prepared very well, especially from their young age. So this shows their system as well. Mentally, they were very, very, very strong. 16 runs needed against Pakistan. They were basically 9 down. And look at their composure. Number 10 and number 11. They were basically cool, calm, composure. So every situation they were basically performing really well. And hats off to Pakistan. They basically played exceptionally well. And there are a couple of youngsters as well. Lots of positives in this particular World Cup. Some Indian batsmen basically they batted remarkably well. Mushir Khan as well. Their captain Uday Saran as well. So let's appreciate the fact that Indian players were brilliant in a couple of matches as well. But hats off to Australia and congratulations to them.
Absolutely. At this moment, I know we're just going to talk, but I just have an update from the PSL. Ehsanullah has been ruled out of the 9th edition of the Pakistan Super League. It's a big blow to Multan Sultans. He's completely out of the PSL, and once again, injury mars Pakistan cricket all over, and we failed to address the issue of why our players are not taken care of well. And Ehsanullah was supposed to be in rehab at the National Cricket Academy or the National High Performance Centre, and they said he's improving and he's ready for PSL, but God knows what's been happening with Pakistan cricket. Asif, your thoughts? And then, of course, Australia's dominance in the world of cricket.
Well, I think it's not a good news for not only for Multan Sultan, but Pakistan as well, because he was a promising guy, the way he was bowling in T20, especially in the franchise cricket. So I think it's a big blow, of course, and still the question is there. And you have asked this question that who's the responsible for all these kind of injuries? Either Pakistan Cricket Board, the medical panel, or the franchise owners or the management. Who will give the answer? No one. And for me, he was just, the bowler who was bowling with 140, 145. And then he had an elbow injury. And after that, no clue what happened. So I think when we'll get the entire story that what happened with Ehsanullah and the rest of the other players like Hasnan and Musa. So that will be eye-opener, not only for the cricket lovers, for the Pakistan Cricket Board as well. Now talk about the Australian dominance in cricket. If you see the Australian innings against India under 19, that was absolutely remarkable. You see that they have lost their first wicket early on, but the way the other batters they rescued, that was phenomenal. 4 of them, they made more than 40. One player scored 50. Then you scored tremendously well, and you scored 200, more than 250. It wasn't easy in the pressure game, because the Australian, they always come up actually with the strong nerves, and their spinner, he was absolutely brilliant, and he bowled 7 overs. Bateman, I'm talking about, is the player of the match as well, given only 15 runs and conceded taken 3 wickets. What does it mean? That the team who always play good against spinners, they were struggling against spinners. So that was the strong nerves of Australia, and that's why they're the champions.
And also that Australian under-19 team have a spinner, but Pakistan senior team still can't find to have one spinner. So that, on a lighter side of things, that is also an argument. Lena, Australia's dominance since year 2023, I'll even go a year back as well. I think it already started from 21-22. but they won all major forms of cricket, including women's cricket, men's cricket, and now under 19 cricket. Just, I think, is adamant to the fact that once you've got a strong system in place, you're going to achieve results.
You're going to do those things right. Once you do have a good system, you put it in place, you have certain rules and regulations, and then you follow those, then you will excel. I mean, whatever field you're going to get into, you're going to follow, excel in it. But the fact is, they trust their people. They have a system for 5-6 years. They have the same people who are working, who develop a system. They keep enhancing that system, improving that system, and from that system, that infrastructure, good players come out. And you talked about injuries. I think a good solution to an injury in Pakistan, as soon as a fast bowler gets injured, please send him to England or Australia. Don't keep him here, and then bring him back after 1 year. Let him get treated there. Let him go into rehab in those countries under an expert's eye, not under some, I don't want to even say the word. You can guess from my expression. So let's just guess from my expression and send the player to England or Australia and keep him there for a year. Spend money on him, because these are our assets. These are the people who give us happiness. Tomorrow, they are the people who are going to win laurels for us. No one in Pakistan is going to do that. Only cricketers, sports people. So spend money on them, send them to England or, and Australia, get them treated. I'm not saying our doctors are bad, but those people know how to do these things. Look now what we're doing to Ehsanullah, and look what we have been doing to Naseem. Thank God he was sent to England, and then now he's better. And also, in the past, Zahid, Mohammad Zahid, there's so many examples, and Hassan Ali. We keep on wasting these players. Even the under 19, I've seen some really good fast bowlers. So we need to treat them right. We need to have a system. But here, it's difficult because every 6 months, system's going to change.
Right, definitely. And I think that really puts the whole prospect that we talk about, that, you're right, investment has got to start from school cricket. And unfortunately, I think we talk about domestic cricket, we talk about PSL, we talk about Qaid Azam Trophy, talk about our youth cricket, under 19, under 16s, and whatever's been happening. But I'll be very honest, and this is something that is very personal to me, that in the past couple of years, I've seen the worst amount of deteriorating club cricket in Pakistan. I'll just talk about Islamabad particularly. No club cricket whatsoever. No clubs competing against each other. Only private commercial tournaments are happening, where you gather a bunch of boys who can pay, and you put in a handsome amount of entry fee, as they call it, and you join the tournament. The competitiveness of club cricket has been taken away. The pride of playing for a club or joining a club and going through the system of being a net bowler to getting your first ever game has been taken away. The charm of playing for your school in a inter-board competition or an inter-university competition has been taken away. And I think once you do all of these things, then you can have PSL 109, you can have Qaid Azam Trophy, you can have President's Trophy 100,000, whatever. You will never be able to attract the true lot of cricket, because for most of us who have spent time at the club level, we saw that generation of players who were so eager to play for their clubs and make their way up to the circle, perform in a club tournament, give under 16, under 13, under 19 trials, get selected in the senior district. Club championships used to happen. We used to have about 3 of them, or 2 of them at least. Once we had T20, there was a T20 championship, then a 50 over or a 40 over championship. But unfortunately, it's all been taken away. And I think that's a sad part of Pakistan cricket. So definitely we hope that things improve. On that note, I'd like to thank Leena Moin Aziz, Asif Ahmed, and Sabir Hussain for joining us. So me and the entire team, it's goodbye for now.